Good to see everyone. Relatively on time.
Nobody was with you today. No.
All right, so throughout the course of this week, it's not there anymore. The title. Who caught the title?
Business of Healing.
Business of Healing? Close. You caught it? You wrote it?
God is in business.
You got it. He saw it. Healing is God's business.
Yeah.
So something that I've been presented with throughout the week. I had a conversation at my parents' house about the medical system. That's right. You were also involved. Differing of opinions. Well, not opinion. I don't know part. I'm doing it good. But there were different views, perspectives. 1,000% right. Perspectives. And then also Victoria I asked her, I said, Victoria, what do you want to think we should talk about for convocation? I don't ever ask that.
So y'all planned this. It's rehearsal.
I never asked her, but she, for whatever reason, you're in tunes. She said, I don't know, usually, how'd you say it?
Usually you teach us stuff that you don't learn every day about the scriptures and stuff. Like people don't teach in church and learn about study stuff that kind of blow you away or it adds to your everyday life.
That's what she said. But then she said,
just like a dog.
She did good. That's actually what she said. And then she said something about medicine, and she went on a tangent. She went for a while.
Really?
But there was some things. We'll go into prayer here in a little bit, but there was some testimony that you brought up. So I said, nah, it sounds like that's what I'm supposed to be teaching. Right here. Father in heaven, mighty God, you are an awesome God, and we look to you for all the things that we could ever possibly imagine to have. Whether it's good quality of life, good family life, spiritual life, prayer life, financials, all the things, our health, any kind of understanding, our minds, our souls. We look to you for all things. We look to you for light. We look to you for water. We look to you for your spirit. We look to you for righteousness and guidance. We look to you for all things, oh God. Let's not fall short now. The things that we look to you for in Christ's mighty name. Amen. The challenge in doing these kind of things is because it puts all of us in the decision-making seat. There's things we've talked about over the years that once presented with it, you cannot go backwards because we saw it in the scripture. So how can you go backwards on the things that we've learned? Either Verna will remind us, or Victoria will remind us, or Adanya will remind us, or Dot will remind us, or even Daniel has reminded us, or Mom will remind us. You'll remind us. You'll say, I thought you'll say something. The other day, I ate sway fish.
Where did you swear?
That's right. I think
Wow.
I took him.
Wow. You know, it's so strange because when we went to this place, they went and they said, I said, they don't have anything that I eat. They only have catfish. And the people were like, well, we have sway or whatever. I was like, nah, never heard of it. Not eating that. I don't know what that is. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll take some sway. You want us to fry this? Yeah, we'll fry it for you. I was like, not me. Not eating that. So I went over and was like, hey, you think they could sell me some chicken? Because I was like, we got chicken. I was like, I'll do that. I know what chicken is. I'll eat that. He's getting his sway all fried up. And I'm like, I'll take the chicken. So Soul's eating it. He's like, this is good. You want to taste it? I was like, are you sure? He's like, you'll like it.
No, you didn't say, are you sure?
Well, maybe not that part. So then I did it. And I was like, oh, wow, it is good. I'll still take the chicken. And so then, as I'm about to leave, the people was like, you want some sway for free? I was like, no, I'm okay. And then they made it anyway. I only ate sway because of your son. I did not want it.
wasn't good.
I kept asking him, like, are you sure? Like, is this? No, the fish it was good. You shouldn't have.
It's like catfish.
Abomination is always good.
The chicken was not good.
Chicken was not good.
What was this place at? What was this?
It was a fundraiser.
Oh, over at
The tailgate. Shouldn't have went. The reason I went is because I was undisciplined. And
You're undisciplined.
the reason why most of us do things that we're not supposed to do is lack of discipline.
Originally, it was going to do a good thing. Like I bought the tickets.
Call my mom.
I bought the tickets before so that we didn't have to pay that day.
It's like catfish.
But then when we realized we were there and hadn't eaten, we ended up supporting their fundraiser and ate the food.
Dad will just go back. He said, I asked him, what is the name of this fish? I don't know. He said, why do you buy fish without knowing what it is?
Close the door, Coop.
Yeah, I thought I remembered the sway
Oh,
to be the like halibut, cod. I thought it was one of those things. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I was undisciplined. Now listen, whenever I catch myself and I realize that what I did was a lack of discipline, I disciplined myself harshly. I punished myself.
Why do you punish yourself?
Because that's how you get disciplined. I definitely do discipline myself very much, very harshly. How else will I not do? How else?
cut?
I'm sorry.
You don't cut.
he just punched and slapped.
Cut myself?
Yeah, you don't.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
He about to say, let's call a doctor.
He works out very hard in the
Give
gym
me medicine.
No.
more than he should.
Yeah, whatever. The reason why I'm even where I'm at now is through discipline. I don't let myself make it. You can't just do something and then don't worry about it. So everybody makes mistakes. I can't take that mindset because I will be a horrible person in leadership, and I also will never amount to anything. And most of us, especially in this side of the world, it doesn't. Oh, everybody. Oh, better luck next time. Oh, things happen. I would never take that position with myself because I love myself. I don't take that position with the people that live here too. I love them. I'm very hard on this lady. I'm very hard on these two girls.
Very hard on me too.
No, very, very hard. But I know what you shouldn't be getting away with.
Man. You're not the stator.
Excuse me?
You're not the stator.
I wouldn't want to be. Some of the things that I've learned, my favorite lessons came from harsh discipline. So it's a good formula. But I did eat that, and so let's look at some of the reasons people are sick.
Mhm.
We understand sin. That we've talked about that, right? Sin. Talking to everybody here.
Yeah.
So
Are you sleeping?
there's sin that causes sickness, and there's sin that causes death.
It's true, according to the scriptures. There's a sin unto death. I don't say that you should pray for that. He said. The sin that's unto death. I don't say you should pray for that. Sin. What is sin? Sin is simply not doing what we're supposed to do. So you can look at all the ailments that you deal with and see, you can find all of them. You can find there's something I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not. If I'm lying, someone please come and slap my cheek.
Sit down.
Make sure I'm lying though.
Mom told me to sit down. She said,
I'm saying, if you were on your way here, I would ask that you make sure that I'm lying.
He tells you to slap his cheek. He said, "Come in and slap his cheek."
So who?
He just said, tell me to slap my cheek.
No, I said, please come and slap my cheek. I invited. It was an invitation for my cheek to be slapped. If I'm lying. Of course, I don't feel like getting my cheek slapped. But I say it for effect. If there's an ailment that I'm dealing with, have I been doing everything I'm supposed to be doing?
nope.
Or if my children have an ailment, obviously they don't know everything they're supposed to be doing. Then there's something I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing because I'm not disciplined enough to do the things that I'm supposed to do. Let's talk about certain diseases. Which one? Throw one up. What is that?
Cancer.
Chlamydia.
It's the first one that came
No worries. Chlamydia is an STI.
STD.
STI.
Yeah.
Sexually transmitted infection.
Because it can be a disease.
Yeah, that's how we first learned it was STDs. But since then, they've
Changed it.
categorized it differently.
Okay.
Chlamydia. What were you supposed to be doing if you didn't do it? If you get it,
Wearing a rubber.
wearing rubber? So you say you should have put on protection? Or something?
Yes.
Or maybe stay abstinent.
You're abstinent. If you're in a what you got? Somebody's not going like this one.
Somebody's cheating.
Got checked.
Somebody. There's something. That's how disease comes. Of course, you can get infected by someone next door to you. Let's look at the
Crabs.
crabs.
Yeah.
All right, that's another one.
Cause you can get that.
That's all.
You can get that by
Let's
changing
manage
clothes.
to artist. You was talking on something before you added your own.
Yeah, but he saw it, received it.
Yeah, I can use that. Crabs. These are very small little crustaceans. And if somebody has it and it didn't come from physical contact, you said from doing what?
Changing the clothes.
Change of clothes?
Yeah, like
Or sharing clothes?
sharing clothes or like in that place.
Yeah, sharing, that's sharing clothes. That place?
Restroom.
Mhm.
toilet.
The toilets, you know, those things can jump 9 feet in the air. The small little things. Doom. So if you're in the toilet, you said, you should see them. Yeah, you should see them.
I don't know.
They wouldn't really live
I
there.
didn't know
They
that
don't
that's
have-
real.
They don't stay very
Some
far
real
away from
bugs in you.
their
That's true.
food source.
That's true.
So they're not gonna go to something like that unless it has food.
That's true. Okay. So those things, from
They're
sharing
ticks.
clothes, you shouldn't be sharing clothes. They're a little different.
Can't
than ticks.
people get
I'm
They're-
saying
A-
they're like
can't
ticks.
AIDS be
They're like
transmitted
fleas and
through some of these things? Like
AIDS.
by
ticks.
fluids, like you know what I'm talking about.
AIDS can't be transmitted through
What is
Saliva.
it transmitted?
blood,
It has
Oh,
to
yeah.
be blood.
blood or semen. It has to be not saliva, but yes, seminal fluid and yeah, blood.
That's why it's mainly
Like the-
What about
I know that's why
gonorrhea?
that commercial is mostly catered to men. It's always men on there.
Yeah, because there's anal fissures and tears that happen, and so there's blood.
many.
What about gonorrhea?
Why
It's
would
all
we
the
go
same.
on
Dad, you don't have to
sexual-
keep
Riley's gonna learn it. But
Cancer.
I'm not worried about her learning. There's so many other diseases.
No, we're talking about disease, so it's fine. I get it.
prostate
Well,
cancer.
We would never talk about this, so that's why I'm
Get
okay with it.
prostate cancer from
She
sin.
didn't say
What?
From sin.
Ronnie
All of
said
these
change.
ailments, all of
Ronnie
these
said-
ailments are sin.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you not give a
So let's-
shot that you-
Any kind of
Supposed to be not doing.
So let's look at the first group of diseases we talked about as some kind of sexual immorality. All right, cat. Put that up. You said prostate cancer.
Not eating gluttony
How does prostate cancer happen?
from food, I think.
You know what prostate cancer is?
Yeah, your anus.
That's colon cancer.
Oh, colon. Yeah.
But they check the same way. That why you said that?
Yeah.
They got to go in there. All right, prostate cancer comes from us not sitting on the right way on the toilet. It also comes from not having a healthy pelvic region. It's too tight. Some places loose. Sit too much. A person shouldn't sit so many, especially a man, shouldn't sit so many hours a day. A man was made to be erect. You have to walk. And you have to do this stuff. You have to pick things up. Look at our shoulders. These are meant to pick things up.
What if you stand a lot? I think, but in the same position.
You shouldn't do that either. I'm telling you that everything that comes off of the way God made it is because we're doing something wrong. There's some people who just sleep wrong.
Yeah.
And now they're dealing with illness, gastric problems from their stomach. You're just sleeping. A headache. Where does a headache come from? This is a simple thing. Where does a headache come from? You know, headaches are. You're not even supposed to have a headache. What is that? What is it? You never. None of us are ever. It seems such like a normal thing. What's wrong? I just got a headache. You're never supposed to have a headache. A headache comes from a lack of sleep. It comes from stress. I'm going to get into stress in a little bit. It comes from
Allergies,
stress.
which release stress.
Training.
It comes from chemical imbalance or reaction in your mind. Not your mind, I'm sorry, your brain. And now, too much blood. It's not enough room.
That's the same as a migraine.
Mhm.
No,
Yes,
migraine is
we-
worse. but
yeah.
No,
Obviously,
that's what
mine
I'm
is
saying.
worse, but yes, it's the same.
Migraine.
Yeah, you're heading towards the same thing, just now that's a more severe pain. If you shouldn't have a headache ever. Matter of fact, I'll read to you what it says. These are just some triggers of a headache. Stress, number one. And stress is going to be number one on all the things that we look at. Not all, but most of the chronic diseases that we look at. Stress, lack of sleep, fatigue, hunger, caffeine withdrawal, getting off of pain relieving medicines. I wonder why. Weather changes, and then food and drink such as chocolate, processed foods that contain monosodium glutamate, or better known as MSG, alcohol. Another one, being around smoke, certain smells, bright lights such as sunlight or flashing lights, foods such as aged cheeses, avocados, bananas, chocolate, peanut butter, sour cream, nuts, peanut butter, or yogurt.
Sour cream.
Yeah.
Some of those are allergic reactions.
Sometimes it's also a combination. You don't know how to combine food. We don't even know what time we should be eating certain food. So during the day, should you ever drink orange juice in the end of the night? Why not?
The acid.
Orange juice is
Acid.
Like liquor and wines and stuff, you're actually not supposed to drink it at night. If you're going to consume wine or liquor, you're supposed to do it anywhere between like 3, 6 o'clock.
Why?
Because if you drink too late, it can disrupt your sleep and cause headaches.
All right. So if you look at all these things, you start to realize, wow. You did sound like a movie, like a movie insert. Okay. So hearing all this stuff, you'll start to realize, wow, maybe there's a lot of things that I'm doing that I'm not supposed to be doing.
Michael, why aren't you supposed to ever drink orange juice?
That's nice.
No, he said never. Oh, just because it's disgusting.
It messes with his throat.
Acidic.
All right, so
People with acid reflux really bad. They
Eat the
can't.
orange.
apple juice is better. You can drink it any time of the day.
Apple juice
You
makes
want-
your stomach turn up.
Just drink a soda.
So let me talk to you guys about sleep, and I'm also going to talk to you guys about digestion. What is breakfast?
Breaking fast.
It's the breaking of the fast. Why do we need to fast?
So your body breaks down on food
Give your stomach a break. Yes.
and rest and all that.
And depending on the fast through the day, it could be for spiritual reasons.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyday fast. Your digestive system takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to digest food. So what happens if you eat, I'm hungry, I ain't eating all day, and then so you decide to eat at 8:30. You think you eat at 8:30, you have a late night, go to sleep at 11:30. You're setting yourself up for a horrible day. Because you're not going to sleep well.
And they end up having to go to the bathroom in the middle of the day because it probably won't happen early in the morning.
That's true, especially if you eat fatty foods. Drink some orange juice, some milk.
I don't drink no milk. Stay away from milk.
So now your body is trying to digest. The reason I brought up milk, bless you. The reason I brought up milk is because your body has a hard time breaking down the milk, the kind of milk that they give us. I should say that. Your body's having a hard time breaking down this milk, so that your time of digestion has lengthened, and you don't get a chance to get any good quality sleep. The reason why we need quality sleep is because we've broken down our body all day. And sleep helps you to repair.
Especially if you've been working out and all that.
Gives you a reset. Also, if you haven't done much physical activity throughout the day, and you just coasted throughout the day, your body also will not feel the same shutdown period. And if you're on your phone late at night, you also will not get any good sleep. So sleep is probably the best thing.
Oh, also for
No,
phones, set your phones to auto. That way the light will change according to the time of the day because it's better on your eyes, especially for when you.
Mine does.
But there's two. There's not just the. I'm not talking about just the night mode. It's the tones in your phone from the contrast. If it's set, then that'll shift too throughout the
do you
entire
do
day
that?
based on time.
No, she's a
You're gonna have to
minister.
do a, yeah, you're gonna have to do a tutorial.
Just letting you. It's the two things. It's not
It's
just.
just in
And you're gonna have to show us that.
settings. Just have
I don't know how to do that.
She's gonna show us. What's wrong with you?
It's okay. Good. Thank you.
Oh, and when you sleep, no artificial light. Turn all lights off.
Okay, good. So all lights are off. What about sounds?
Sounds, there should be no sound.
No, it should get a little sound. It's
Yeah,
okay.
some natural
I like sound.
rain will be good for you.
I can
For
sleep.
grounding,
I
I
can
like
sleep
to
with
listen.
talking.
I like to listen to Janae.
You go. You just go to sleep. It's all right.
Puts me straight to sleep. When I was the other day when you came to the truck, I couldn't sleep. I was in pain. I hadn't slept all day, so I got all night. So I went to work real early, parked my truck. I told my trainee, "Hey, give me about an hour." And I'm restless, and I said, "I know what to do." God. She puts me straight to
Why
sleep.
don't you say that? Makes you
It's not what she's
Voice.
saying.
The tones of her music,
Oh.
the vibes.
Yeah.
Very,
Good.
If she wasn't
very
married
gummy
and I
like.
wasn't married, I'd find her.
Every song she's gummified.
She's
Gummified?
she's your siren.
Yes.
Now, mold you.
What does that mean, gummified?
She's high.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
All right, so sounds are okay. All right, if we can get good sleep, if we can learn to do the things that we need to do, let's talk about stress. Three major types of stress.
post traumatic stress.
Post-traumatic
It tries. It tries. In this world that you live in, you got other things.
You're right.
Trying in this world.
So you have psychological stress. You have physical stress. And then what's the other one?
Mental. Or is that part of
Yeah, so it's psychological.
emotional stress?
That seems psychological too.
All right, I got it here. Okay, I got more than three. So I got physical stress, got psychological stress, got psychosocial stress, and then psychospiritual stress. I'm gonna give you some examples of all these. Physical stress will include trauma, some kind of injury, infection, maybe surgery. You know, surgery is like an
C-section.
injury. If someone gives you a surgery, that is an injury.
My body responds to it. I lose a lot of weight, no matter how small the surgical procedure.
Well, I want you to look at it.
Psycho and spiritual.
I want you to look at it. How because should be freeing to all of us. Our minds are in the hands
Pastor.
of this world. And it's my job to show that to you.
Aaliyah, come here.
It's my job to show that to y'all, to present to y'all, hey, look, here's another thing I uncovered about how our minds are in the hands of the world. And then we make a decision, choose either step who we will serve. That's it. And that's why I was talking about earlier how we remind each other after a while, hey, that's not how we're supposed to do it. Okay? They had me believing that a surgery was separate completely from an injury. But have they not taken a sword and cut me open? It's exactly an injury. It's nothing else. It's exactly an injury. Sometimes when they go do the surgery, they go find something that's not correct, make it less correct, and then try again so that the body can do what? The body's gonna heal itself. They're not gonna heal you. Will not heal you. They cannot heal you. Healing is whose business?
God's.
God's business.
You know, as I watched CJ So Cool with his gun wounds and the holes, I was curious as to why they wouldn't stitch them up to close them. They're just leaking stuff, and as he keeps showing it, you could just see it literally just healing, closing all up. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
Well, the reason why you can't just do that with a gunshot is because it's damaged. It's not a cut.
It's like
Tissue
fried.
damage.
Yeah, it's damaged. So unless that regenerates, sometimes it won't fully regenerate, but it'll cause skin to come over it. If there are any muscle rebuilt that can be rebuilt, that's what will happen. And you'll always be able to see, oh, that person got shot right there. Other times, if it's just it just goes right in, not like right here, because this is going to do something like that, depending on the actual round. But there's some, if a bullet goes right in here, it goes right in here, and it's just it'll be a small hole because the bullets are small. The part that actually comes out is small. And then something like that, if you can get the bullet out, you get in there, get the bullet out, and they can probably close that. Not a big deal. Sometimes they leave the bullet in there.
Bullet is meant to expand and kill one.
Yeah, that's why I said it depends on the round.
It's gonna expand inside.
Here's one right there.
And it's meant not to go. It's meant not to
Come out. That's why they have the.
That's how it kills you.
That's how they have the
Hollow point.
hollow point,
Yeah.
so that because the force is to come out this way, but with the gun laws, you're responsible for every bullet that comes out. So they're trying to reduce the fatality and your responsibility. So it goes inside and explodes within you, shatters everything. Hollow point.
There's a full metal, which is the round tip, the full round tip. Go right in you,
They come right out.
It may not even kill you, but kill somebody else.
Yes. So, kind of using the idea, it depends on the kind of round, the kind of gun, also. All things factor what kind of wounds you'll have. But
Criminals got the best stuff,
just going back to that physical, this surgery is an injury. How is it not? You just cut ligaments. You just cut off the
But who told you it wasn't an injury?
Oh, that's the way I grew up in this America. They would never let me believe that was an injury. They would have me to believe. Absolutely, they would have me to believe that they're only helping and not hurting it in any way.
I've never had surgery.
But I've never had surgery.
Except for
I've never had surgery.
it wasn't surgery.
They don't have any. Only the
Who's the only one who got hurt?
the high hanging.
I just had a hernia.
Yeah. It went in by itself.
I've never had any broken bones.
Oh, glory to God.
When? How do you think you got out of it?
What are you?
Fibroids. Me.
When?
All right, continue.
All right. So the list goes on. All the radiation, illness, inadequate oxygen supply. There's just all kinds of stuff. Hormonal. Then let's go to psychological stress. This is emotional stress. This is resentments, fears. Wasting time with fear. Frustration. Why is anyone frustrated ever? Why is anyone frustrated
I
ever?
can't do something.
No control.
That's
Unmet-
awesome. There
unmet.
it is. There it is. You want to control it. You want to have so much control, and you can't. Either control it, or I used to tell people if somebody has a problem with anything I'm doing or anything, either deal with it.
Or do something about it.
That's it. Either deal with it. make me stop or put up with it. But that's all of life. It's just like that. Either go do something about it, or if you realize, hey, I can't do anything about it. I don't know if any of y'all see me frustrated, because I have that down very well. There's things that I can control in my household. There's actually some things in my household I cannot control. I will not be frustrated. It's a waste. The people I see frustrated the most are women and children. They want to control things that they can't control. So that's a waste. You're stressing
It's
enough.
okay, baby.
That's not,
Why'd y'all do that to her? Okay, get your picture.
All right, you're stressing for nothing. Sadness, anger, grief. These are all types of psychological stress. Shame, how about that? Guilt, jealousy, self-criticism, anxiety. Perfectionism. Oh, perpetual stress, beliefs. Wrongs.
Dang, it's psychological. It's gonna kill everybody.
What'd you say?
Because everybody deals with everything that you listen.
What'd you say it's gonna kill everybody?
Well, you know what I mean. If we don't do something about it.
Psychosocial stress. Check this one out. This one we're not used to hearing about this kind of stress. Relationship, marriage difficulties. Partner, siblings, children, family, employer, co-workers, employer. Lack of social support. Man, nobody is trying to help me. Lack of resources for adequate survival. Loss of employment, investments, savings, loss of loved ones, bankruptcy, home foreclosure, isolation. And then it says psycho-spiritual stress. This one I've never even heard of, thought about. A crisis of values, meaning, and purpose. Someone has no meaning. I don't even, you know what? This one, I don't think that I'm going to include it. This is very new, but I'll read it.
Maybe.
No.
Crisis of values. I had that when I had to make a
No,
decision.
you, especially if you know that you're supposed to be doing certain things, and spiritually, and you're not doing it. I can see that.
I'm going to read
But
it.
that causes you to become this. Everything that comes with those things turns into psychological.
Eventually.
Well,
but
let me
there's
read
a thing of
So
belief.
So it's all psychological.
What is a pistachio?
A pistachio.
Pistachio.
The psycho, he's saying. The spirit.
The mind.
You don't remember
Is that the jacket you use?
Oh.
Or is-
when
The Mexican
when
food?
had a tattoo.
Oh, yeah. It's a psycho. He had a Tasmanian devil with two guns, a gun, and a money
Machete?
bag.
I remember the.
He said just a psycho. Just a
Pistachio. Somebody said, "What's a pistachio?"
Yeah.
They've never had to read Psycho. Psych is the soul.
Which is pretty much was your essence. But okay, good.
All right. So psycho-spiritual. Like I said, I'm going to read it. A crisis of values, meaning, and purpose. Joyless striving instead of productive, satisfying, meaningful, and fulfilling work, and a misalignment within one's core spiritual beliefs. All right. So the reason why I call this very new. Either they just to put attention on it, or people were always in a place where they were supposed to be spiritually. If you look at the guy, what is his name? The prodigal son. He was in a place that he was supposed to be, and he ended up in a place that he was not supposed to be. And then he said, "What do I do? Even the servants of my dad's house, they have plenty to eat." So That one seems like the easiest to me. I never looked at my life and thought, what am I doing? And I'm probably going to do something with my life. Because either I would do whatever I wanted. So if I wanted to play basketball, I'd do that. Or if I wanted to be in the streets, I would do that. And then I came to a place where I just called out to God immediately. And when God responds, I just do it. So if anyone finds themselves in this place, that's the fastest fix. That's the fastest one. Just, let me just obey what God says. That's the fastest one. Let's say you're backslidden. I can see that falling into this. Why are you doing? Just get back up and do what you're supposed to do. That's the fastest one. The next one, if we're going back up, psychosocial stress. So what? Now, some stress is good. I'm going to tell you right now. Some stress is good. If you're convicted by the Holy Spirit, is that not this? What we're talking about? Psychospiritual stress. It's good. You shouldn't be convicted by the Holy Spirit for 3 years.
I would think all stress is good.
Stress is good.
But you need resistance to grow.
Stress is good. I was going to get to that. That stress is good if you're active. If you're not active, it's a poison and it will kill you. The reason when those I told about this when I was doing the live, when those dogs ran at me and did attack me, I was under a great amount of stress. That stress is just for activity. What are you gonna do? It's not for me to say, oh no, I'm under a lot of stress. Now what? Pills? That's action.
That's what people do.
That's inaction.
Yeah, I'm not.
So that's what it's for. It's to get you up and doing, right? If the spirit convicts
You to
you,
make a choice. In psychology, they'll say fight or flight.
yeah, but you should. To me, there's no choice. But that's true. That's what they say. You know right from wrong. So how is that a choice?
You gotta choose right or wrong.
Okay, but if that's why I said okay. That's what they said. But if you know, if you only want good for yourself, why would you ever choose wrong?
But
Because your
There's
spirit
more
is going
options.
against your flesh.
there's more
So
options in fight and flight. There's also
Freeze.
freeze. I don't know what to do.
But that means you didn't make a choice, right?
Well, you did. That is a
you
choice.
chose to not
To
move.
just sit there and say,
No, it's supposed to.
I'm gonna die.
It's supposed to elicit a fight or flight response. So now, for you to start going through, what are your choices? And then people just freeze. Those
No, some people
do
choose
it.
not to fight and not to run.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's a full choice.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's still presented itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a third option.
They gave up.
And that's when you see,
That's what popping the
like
pill
when I
is.
see people who commit themselves,
Delete
I'm alive.
yeah,
Do what themselves?
deletes themselves.
Cancel.
A lot of times that's what happens. They've accepted this is what it is. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna run from this thing. I'm just
It does.
accept it.
This is it. This is my choice.
And people who say I'm depressed, I'm just depressed. I just don't know I'm depressed. Give me pills. They give them pills to mess up their whole
Inside.
mental thing in there. Now they don't know why do we always feel like this.
That's why I'm going with all this. Is to show to us that the medical system has no interest whatsoever in giving you a cure. If we know, I'm going to read a few things. If leprosy, who fixed that? Christ. All right. Let's go to Luke. Luke chapter 4. Darren, would you read verse 38, please?
Mom's there.
Yeah.
I know you're a medical professional.
Yeah, she retired. She got out still. She
She's
still.
still.
Sorry, that's all she
Everybody ready?
did. Listen.
And he arose.
And 39.
Okay. And he arose out of the synagogue and entered into Simon's house. Simon's wife's mother was taken with great fever, and they besought him for her. And he stood over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her. And immediately she arose and ministered unto them.
All right, where's the drugs? Any drugs?
Nope.
If somebody had a fever here right now today, what is the fever doing? What's
Fighting
What's it
the
indicating?
infection.
It's showing that there's an
Something
infection
wrong.
or something wrong.
if you take cold and fever medicine, what does it do to you?
Suppress the symptoms.
Oh, so your body's not still fighting the infection.
It is.
It is the
Oh,
fight.
but it is still fighting the infection. But the medicine did what?
Suppress the symptoms.
Oh, trick me. It did magic against it. Yeah. What will happen if the fever is 105 degrees? It could be what?
It'll mess up your brain if you don't even practice.
That's how sick she was. Her fever was to the point of death. And so he rebuked fever. Because then whatever infected her wasn't about to kill her. What was about to kill her? The fever. All right. In verse 42, verse 40, it says, Now when the sun was setting, all they that had any sick with diverse diseases brought them unto him, and he laid his hands on every one of them and healed them. Where do you see the drugs? Where do you see the pharmaceuticals? What is a pharmaceutical? What is that? What is it? Magic.
It's potions, enchantments.
It says that he healed how many kinds of diseases?
Diverse, many.
How many did he heal? All that came to him.
Oh.
All of them. All right. Let's look at some more scripture.
Yeah,
Inside of
41.
inside of
And devils also came out of many, crying out and saying, Thou art Christ, the Son of God. And he, rebuking them, suffered them not to speak, for they knew that he was Christ. All right. Medical means physician. Physician is
pertaining to the physical.
right. So I've talked to y'all about me being a physician. I know I did. Even though it's funny, it is. I guess it can be funny, but I didn't lie to y'all. I look for physical things to help us to feel better, do better. The only other source that I go to is the Most High God in Christ's name. It's not me, but the name, and then what? And faith in the name, like Peter said. Because we just saw what he was doing. These signs shall follow those that believe. They shall lay hands on the sick, and what? They shall recover. All right. Then it tells us, I go to the Father. If I go to the Father, then the Spirit will come. And he says, greater works than these shall you do. How many times has the medical world told us God has healed you? God has made you better. only
Definitely
reason,
stay away from that.
absolutely, the only reason why we go and give our money to the medical professionals because we believe them more than we believe God.
Even the pastors, like, I'm not saying don't go to the thing. You gotta go take care of them.
I'm told you that the world has our minds in their hands. We believe them over what we believe in God says. All of us. If we go from here to a hospital or to a clinic, it's because we believe what they have to say more than we believe what God has to say. Now let me prove it.
But God can use them too.
Why?
Why can't He use them?
Why wouldn't He use me? Well, yeah.
For those who believe.
Oh, okay.
This is a concession, much like divorce is a concession because of the lack of our belief and our hard-heartedness.
So
Amen.
God will use the doctors to put poison in you,
Absolutely
medicine
not.
that's
a
not
good
of
question.
Him.
That's a good question. Hey, when somebody, the lepers that were the 10 lepers, who did He send them to?
Which is what
His, where His power is. When was it Gehazi and who was the guy who came? Who? Naaman. Who was he sent? Who was sent to him? Or who was he sent to? I'm sorry. Wasn't it a man of God? They happen to believe God more than they believe these physicians. Matter of fact, they try the physicians and it's like, man, they can't fix me. The woman with the issue of blood.
She tried many physicians.
Why would who's more powerful, the medical people or God? The people of God or the people of medicine? Oh, I'm sorry, the people of God, the people of medicine. Who's more powerful? Who has more authority? People of God. We don't believe. That's the only problem. We take away power from the people of God because we don't believe. You remember, the Christ had to send people out. Please, y'all get out of here.
Yeah, when I told people at my job I was feeling better, they said, "Oh, you went to the doctor?" I said, "No, Sola prayed for me." Y'all just looked at me like I was stupid.
Because they don't believe, right?
You worked there with us. And you're quiet for the most part. Even Stan.
My sister gets so frustrated with me when she sees that one of us is sick or something. And she'll be like, "Did you get tested? What am I getting tested? You know why you need to be? Well, I don't have. Cause you don't know that you. Yes, I do. I know. She gets so mad.
If we're looking for a cure, who's the only one that can bring a cure? We know that the physicians, we know that the medical professionals, not only do they not have a cure, they're not interested whatsoever in a cure. And most of it is because we're doing what we're not supposed to be doing anyway. Shouldn't we ask God, what am I doing? That I'm feeling this. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? They'll tell you, the stuff you've been eating, processed foods, is what's destroying your teeth. That's what's wrong. Or he'll tell you, the way that you eat, what you eat before you're about to go to sleep, that's messing everything. He'll tell you. God, what is it? Like Darren was told by the PT. The PT.
He told me he had a thing on his head, though. I don't know what that meant. It was in a circle and it was red.
Is Pakistani or Indian?
Is he a yogi?
Huh?
He might be a yogi.
Oh, what it was.
Okay, if he's a yogi, no, that's good.
And he was brown colored and he had black.
If he's a yogi, he understands the body way more than those doctors.
And he did understand Steve Moore. He was like, those doctors are crazy. And he told me what I need to do. He showed me some exercises. He says that I'm supposed to stretch. I'm supposed to be more flexible.
That's why I say he's a yogi.
Not
He is a
flexible. He says he's like, look at the Asian people. They live longer lives because they're not strong. They're flexible. And the older you get, you need to be more flexible. So he was telling me. So they said he sounded like he wanted to cure me. Because he was like, You do these exercises, and you constantly do these exercises. So you're not supposed to sit. Because when you sit all day, your body's doing something unnatural because your back is bulged out. Even if you have a pillow, because you're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be standing up. You're supposed to be a curve
That's what I said.
and all that. Not like this.
Right.
And then I'm always doing this, driving. So that's causing. So he gave me some exercises. If you do this, because you have to do that job, you do these things, you'll be fine. And he says, we're going to work on your limp on your next one, and then that should be it. He could have said, keep coming so I can keep getting this $100.
Well, that's why I wanted to point out. A cure and healing to make you whole is what God does. He's interested in it. So our prayer, if y'all are asking, can God use? It's going to be in his system. It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be poison. It's going to be within his system. There's some people who understand the arts better than I do. Just because I'm here, the stuff that I teach you, I just learned.
I was just telling Sola, I said, look how late we're learning all this stuff. Like even like for my lips, I've been using lip treatments at night, all natural stuff, vegan stuff. And it's done so much for my lips than just this chapstick Vaseline, which is not good, petroleum in it. And so I found a chapstick and I put it on. I was like, okay, it didn't have any other ingredients on it. So I thought it would work. And then I told Sola I was feeling my lips and I'm like, dang it, why did I use that? And so when I looked on it and it said made by Pfizer, I was like,
No trust.
they didn't get to my lips.
No trust.
So I was like, what do these rich people use? And so it was like probably Burt's Bees. And so I went and bought a whole collection of Burt's Bees. And so far, it's been fine. So I would listen to you as you talk about the way you stand. Beyonce, there's a lady who trained Beyonce in dance and all this stuff, and she taught her correct posture and how to stand. And we had that same trainer. She came in to teach us how we're supposed to stand, just, curvy women or just people with bodies. And we tend to be like this. And even when you're standing, you're not supposed to, it's weird. Like instead of trying to poke your chest like this, you actually supposed, it's weird, but it's like only these rich people be knowing this information, and look how late it is for us to receive it.
But it all boils down to the same thing. We're doing something we're not supposed to do. The man told you you're not supposed to be sitting that long. So with that being said, I challenge everyone here as much as we can to start to learn to do the things that we're supposed to be doing. Can't blame God.
Start taking our medications.
Stop taking
You
medication.
worked on one of the medications that
Good.
you had.
Oh, this is a very good question.
to
What a
take it
challenge.
Yeah.
No. I got you.
Are you gonna say what the pastor
out.
said?
One fight. So pray for you to not do whatever medication.
That medicine for your stomach that time when you took it. In your
Watch
stomach?
When you
this.
operate in faith,
Watch this. This is good. What you gonna do?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Those Crocs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Me too.
he's handled
Might have to get
All right.
It came in when you weren't here. Got delivered.
No, he knew when they came.
All right. So check this out. This is
Remember, I bought Cece
this is
something.
a challenge.
$60.
So Cece.
Cece.
This is a challenge. You hear the challenge? Let's not get distracted. What is the
Okay.
challenge?
Pay attention.
What is the challenge? No.
My blood pressure medication, I should start taking it.
Good job. Thank you. Resoundingly yes. I know you won't.
Yeah, you believe in the.
But watch this. Watch this. I love that this is happening. What a challenge. I love this. I live for this kind of stuff. Every single medication that they have made, the reason why they feel comfortable giving it to you is because they mimicked what they found in nature, and they cannot patent that. So they do it, run the test. Oh no, it's giving this kind of reaction. As long as it's not too bad, okay, good. So is it giving that effect? Yes. All right, let's patent that. Let's sell it to many, many people. Oh, what are the sales this year? Sales went down this year. What's going on? Well, what are we feeding them? Okay, you need to feed them more stuff. Feed them worse stuff. Advertise it. Hurry up, hurry up.
It's
Get it
the
out
proof, like with the CMOS situation.
there. Give them what it takes to make them have high blood pressure. Let them watch the news. Let them do everything that will cause them to come back to us. We are their God. But God, our God, has given us beetroot, burdock root, all these things that will cause for all of us to have healthy blood pressure. But we refuse to go look for that. We'd rather say, well, what can y'all do to make me feel better for just a time? I don't care. No, for as long as you've been taking a blood pressure medicine, none of it has brought your blood pressure. Well, you
Hasn't
don't
even
have to
cured
take
it.
that.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to take that, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. It hasn't made you whole. No matter how many months and years you take it, you still have to take it. That's not of God. However, I said yes. You said no. That's the challenge. And that's how all of us, I want everybody to realize that's how all of us are. That's how we all are. Oh, well, I think this should be okay. That's the challenge. Do we believe God? Am I not there yet? Some people say, I'm just not there yet. All right. I just want you to know what it's called. You can look at me and say, surely you're one of the youngest here, so that's why you're talking about it.
I was just telling Sola how I stopped giving the girls Tylenol, ibuprofen, all that stuff a long time ago. Like they used to get a 99 temperature, and I'd be like, "Take this," because I thought that was high. But now I'll let it get up to like 100, 101, and I still resist it. And it never, ever since, which was probably 7 sicknesses ago, or however you want to look at it, and they never since then have gotten a high fever. So I've never even had to. And if they get runny noses, I give them Highlands, which is 100% natural. And they sleep.
Homeopathic.
Homeopathic.
All right.
So they haven't had medicine.
All right, so this is what I would say. This is the best part of, and everybody can take this and use it, no matter what side of the coin you're on, that you are fully persuaded before you even think, okay, well, they're pressuring me or I'm going to feel bad about this. Don't feel bad about it. This is what you do. Be fully persuaded that God is able and will. This is the reason why somebody gave me a book to look at. And it was a different version. I liked it. I really, really liked it. I liked it. It was in this house for a while. I said, all right, I have to do this final test. And the final test was going to the book of Daniel. I know that. It was a translation for the scriptures. So I go to the translation, and all I need to see is if it actually writes it the way that God intended for it to be written. But they didn't write, if not, they wrote, but if God doesn't.
And with that, she said, just throw the whole book away.
That's it.
She didn't want to buy that Bible. Somebody.
That's the problem.
That's all she needs. She doesn't want no part of it.
And that's
What
how
kind of Bible was that?
it's called the modern English. Okay, I liked it. I liked it so much. I was like, this is really good. This is like the King James, but the way that I'm talking. I like it.
Like a modern day.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Because me and my friends were talking about that type of Bible.
Yeah, it's called modern English. All right. So as I saw that, that's the biggest issue is that little difference is most people's theology. What if God doesn't?
If God does it, or if God doesn't.
What if God doesn't?
But doesn't he say, it says that in Daniel, if God does it, I mean, if
Let's read it. That's a good idea.
he says, if he wants to,
Those
he
words
can,
like
he
to
can,
change it so quick. Slip it.
he can take care of
Small
us.
words.
If he doesn't,
Change it.
You see how it's rooted? You see what I'm talking about? It's rooted in
read
you.
it, let's hear.
You would even put money on it, wouldn't you?
I'm not putting money on
Well,
it.
you would though. But that's
That's one thing I would-
but that's how much you.
She's pretty sure about it.
Daniel chapter 3.
Okay.
All right, let's go to verse 13. God, are you listening? Good, very close. You children listening? It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Backstory, they were supposed to be falling down to worship, not just you, but this.
Oh,
They were supposed to be falling down to worship the image once music was played. King Nebuchadnezzar decreed it. But since these Hebrew people did not do it, he was very upset with them. So he commanded them to bring him. Still in verse 13. Then they brought these men before the king. 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Biggest word in the Bible is this if. Now if. Okay, now if. Follow me. Now if ye be ready, at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. I'll stop there.
No.
Hold on. Stop there.
I'll come back.
If, when you hear the music and you do bow down, what did he say about it? He said, well, if you do it then, okay, cool. Fine. But if not, all right. If you're not ready, because he said if you be ready, okay, but if not, if you worship not, ye shall be cast at the same hour into the midst of a burning fire furnace. And then he says, and who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand? Good question. Okay, that's the only question he asked. All right. Verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, if what be so? If what be so? If we're thrown into the fire? Okay. So, if that's your take, if that's what you're bringing towards us, if that's what you're putting, that's the energy you're putting forth. Because he's answering the question. What was the question?
Who is that God?
Thank you very much. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. Did it stop there? Is it a full stop?
No.
Okay, what else do they say?
And he will.
He will deliver us out of thy hand.
But if not, the next one now.
Trust me, I know how to read. That's why I'm taking you through this entire thing.
Okay.
He said, I'm answering your question. If the way you have this thing set up is going to happen to us, whatever you're saying, okay, fine. Here's my answer to your one question. Who's that God that will save you? The God that will save us is the one that we serve.
Yes.
He's able. Because he asked, who can save you? And he said, oh, he's able. He can. And guess what? He also will deliver. Okay? Now, let me show you why it doesn't mean this, but if not, I'm about to read. Let me show you why it doesn't mean it, but if God does it. For one, they didn't say, but if God does it. That's the first thing. So we can take that off. And then let's put on what really is said. Remember, he says, if it's what you're saying, if this whole situation that you're bringing towards us, this challenge that you're bringing, if that be so, at the end of that challenge, our God can deliver us and will deliver us. But if this is not a real challenge, if you're really not going to throw us in, then let's read the rest of the answer.
Be it known unto thee, O
Well,
king,
we're
we will not. 18.
okay, 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Now watch this. If God, let's go back to the first premises that they're saying if God doesn't. If God doesn't deliver anyone, doesn't matter if it's a snake or a caterpillar or a man, from a burning fiery furnace, if God doesn't deliver them, how can they, as ashes, I'm not gonna bow down. You're dead. How can you say, if you kill us, we will not worship you? How can you say that?
Doesn't make sense.
No, it said, no, it didn't say if you kill us with no worship.
No, he said,
But if God doesn't deliver
God doesn't
us,
deliver
that
us.
means if
You're dead.
it's the premise, let's go with your premise. You're saying that if God doesn't deliver us from the fiery furnace, we're not going to bow down and worship you. You're dead. Why would they put that as the reason? It doesn't make sense.
I'm just showing you that it's not saying that at all. What it is actually saying is, if what you're saying, if your challenge to me is what you're going to do to us, fine. Our God can deliver us,
And he
And
will.
will.
and He will deliver us. If we keep reading it, did He deliver them?
Yeah.
Because it really was. That challenge was real, right? Okay, and they threw him in the furnace. Made it very hot. Made it 7 times hotter.
And then pissed him off by insulting him even more. He said, "Hey, but even if you feel compassionate
Right.
and don't put us in there, we don't care about your God."
That's what He said.
Not. That's why. That's
Yeah,
what.
that's why-
that's what.
No, but even if you don't put us in there,
Yeah.
not if God doesn't deliver us, even if you don't put us in there because you like us so much, we won't worship
Be
your
it known
God.
to you, we're not going
That's
to
what
do it.
they were saying.
If you feel like I'm going to be merciful and just, I like these three. No matter what, we're not going to worship that God.
You see what Darren just said? Now let's read verse 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage changed again. He loved these kids. He loved these people. They were his friends. That's why he gave them a second chance. They were supposed to go in the fire furnace at first. So they told him, "Oh, King Nebuchadnezzar, we're not careful in this thing that we're doing. If it be so, like I thought we were cool. So you know what I'm saying? If you really are going to throw us in there, our God, who we serve, He will, He can, and He will. But if it's not really so, if you're just kind of like pump faking us, you're just kind of like jabbing us, just letting you know we will never serve that God." And so now King Nebuchadnezzar is full of fury. And he tells them to make it 7 times hotter and throws them in there. And then what did God do? The one that can. The one that can. What did He do? He sure did. So the problem with these other versions is they literally say, "But if God doesn't," and that is not the God that they serve, and that's not the God that I serve. There is no "but if God doesn't." I will never say that. I will never say that. But if God doesn't, He asked him, "And which God can deliver you out of that?" And we're going to say, "The God that I serve is mighty." And then say, "But if He's not mighty," that's the problem with most of our theology. We think that there's a God like that. We're thinking that the God of the universe is like that. He's going to let you do that. That you're going to stand up in faith for Him, and He's going to let you just be humiliated and put to shame. That's not our God. Not only is my life portrayed in front of y'all, but it's also recorded here. And I don't go to the clinic. You can say you probably have me. I get it. You know, so none of us have health problems at 41. But I'm not going. I don't want to go. I believe God. And guess what I'm doing? I'm learning. I'm learning holistic things. I'm learning what God intended. If you look for the healing of the nations in Revelation, where were they getting it from? Wasn't it from the tree? Isn't things like thyme and parsley and basil and all these things, aren't they good for your system, for your health? Isn't turmeric and ginger, isn't it?
If the God we serve exists, then He can rescue us from the furnace of blazing fire, and He can rescue us from the power of His king. But even if He does not rescue us, we want you as king to know that we will not serve their gods or worship the gods, the gold statue.
That's wrong. And they even say, and He will deliver us. So He said, and he just
And then
can't.
that one says, if the God that we serve exists.
It's
What
this
is
big
that?
problem.
It's all doubt. That whole thing
Real
is,
faith. Where is the real faith?
yeah, all that is doubt. That book is wrong. The person that we're talking about, she threw it away. She wants nothing to do with it.
That's not the way to believe in God.
Yeah, she wants nothing to do with it. Just that little thing.
All right, let's pray. Wonderful God, mighty God, we love you so much. We thank you for all the things that you show us in the scriptures. We do lean on you for life. You are the life. Your Son is the life and the resurrection. There's no way we can find life anywhere outside of you. You're the source of life. You're the source of water, source of all things that we enjoy and that we need. We pray, Father God, that you will continue to give us all that we need. There's some people doing clever things and able to get some of these nutrients to us, get some of these things that will help us, but it's things that you yourself made because you know what is in our body, you know what life consists of. So help us to go more towards that and get away from the opponent. We love you. We thank you. We have our trust in you. I pray for everyone to come along in their time, because everybody each has their own measure of faith. But I pray that when they do make the decision to come with you, that they are only fully persuaded, and then we can also help to share this message with all those who you have called yours in Christ's mighty name.
Do you?
Do you?